Got my doctorate. My grandfather Walt served 2 tours in Vietnam and came home with a bad knee and a stubborn streak. At 78, he got hit with multiple sclerosis, and it moved fast. Within a year, he needed help just getting the mail. I have a Master of Social Work, and for 3 years before that, I'd untangled VA disability claims for other vets. So when Walt got sick, I moved into his guest room and became his one-woman coordination team. VA aid and attendance paperwork, Medicare Part B appeals, scheduling the home health aide, driving him to neurology in Fairview twice a month. It was a full-time unpaid job stacked on top of my actual full-time job. My Aunt Dana is only 2 years older than me. She's my stepdad's baby sister, born when his mom remarried late, so at family stuff, she always felt more like a cousin than an aunt. Dana got her DVM 4 years ago and opened a small animal clinic outside Lansing. Good for her. She treats beagles and parakeets. She had never once changed an adult diaper or read a Medicare summary notice in her life. That didn't stop her from showing up in every family group chat with opinions. When I switched Walt's home health agency because the first one kept sending aides who didn't know how to use a Hoyer lift, Dana texted the whole family that I was playing musical chairs with Dad's care and that she was going to step in and actually manage things properly. She'd never once made the 90-minute drive to see him. It came to a head over Labor Day. I'd spent that morning on hold with Medicare for 51 minutes fixing a billing code so Walt's physical therapy wouldn't lapse. I walked into the kitchen sweaty and wrung out, and Dana was standing there telling my stepdad that PT twice a week was excessive and Walt should be doing water therapy instead because she'd read an article. Walt, sitting at the table in his wheelchair, said quietly that he liked his current PT and wanted to keep it. Dana kept talking right over him like he hadn't said a word. I told her to drop it, that Walt had made his choice and it wasn't up for a family vote. She turned to me, arms crossed, smelling like her clinic's antiseptic soap, and said, "When you have an actual doctorate, we can talk about who runs medical decisions in this family." Then she turned right back to my stepdad and kept explaining lymphedema to a man who'd been managing it himself for a year. Walt caught my eye across the table. I was so mad my ears were ringing, so I said the first thing that came to me, "Fine, I'm getting my doctorate, just to spite you." I meant it to blow off steam. Walt did not take it as a joke. He slapped the table and laughed so hard he started coughing, and by the following week he'd told my stepdad, my mom, and apparently the guy who cuts his lawn. Dana thought it was hilarious too, in the worst way. She started introducing herself at family things as Dr. Dana, correcting anyone who called her Ms., once telling my cousin's fiance she'd gone through the same rigor as a human doctor, just for a different species. At Thanksgiving, she wore a stethoscope around her neck at a dinner table where nobody needed one. I applied to a Doctor of Social Work program that spring, kept doing every bit of Walt's actual care the whole time, and didn't say one word to Dana about my progress. 2 years in, Walt's MS moved into his lungs. He needed a real medical power of attorney, and at 8 o'clock one Tuesday morning, in front of a notary, he named me. Not Dana, not even my stepdad. Dana found out at a family meeting in the hospital's conference room, and immediately announced she should be the one making calls with the pulmonologist, since she understood the medical side. I set a folder on the table, the notarized POA on top, and under it my letter confirming I'd walk that December, 3 classes from finished. I told her the pulmonologist would be talking to me, because I was the one Walt chose, on paper, while she'd spent 2 years choosing lymphedema articles over letting him finish a sentence at his own table. Nobody in that conference room said anything for a second. Dana didn't say anything else for the rest of the meeting. Walt held on long enough to see me walk that December in a black robe with yellow trim. He sat in a wheelchair in the 3rd row wearing his old service pin, and when they called my name with doctor in front of it, he pushed himself up out of that chair on his own, gripping my stepdad's arm, and stayed standing until I sat back down. Dana came to the ceremony. She sat 2 rows behind him and didn't clap. He died the following March, at home, in the hospital bed I'd set up in his living room, with his aide and me there at 4 in the morning. Dana showed up after it was over. At the funeral, when someone in the receiving line shook my hand and called me doctor, right in front of her, Dana turned around without a word and walked straight out to the parking lot.